Hey there, I'm Ann Shibani, and it looks like we're live. And I want to welcome you to write a book for your business that people are actually going to read because when they do, well, that book of yours might inspire them to work with you. So we're all super busy, right? You're going to spend an hour with me today. And if you're anything like me, you're wondering, oh my Lord, am I wasting my time? Am I even in the right place? And I want to assure you that you are in the right place. If you want to write a book that is going to do one of the following things or all of them, put you and your business on the map, separate you from the competition in a noisy marketplace, and the business world and the market out there is chock full of people competing for the very customers that you would be competing for. If you want to create true authority and credibility, and I use the word true very judiciously because there's a lot of ways to get kind of authority and kind of credibility that you are not after. If you would like your book to build brand awareness, trust, and loyalty, and it would be awfully nice if your book could open doors to really awesome opportunities and speaking engagements and media appearances. You're also exactly in the right place if you want to write a book that's going to magnetize just the perfect right fit clients and customers and bring them into your arena, into your world. If you can imagine how great it would be to have a book that serves as a natural gateway into your other products and programs and offerings. If you would also like to impact lives and provide lasting value, well, you're in the right place. And if you were like a lot of my clients, you've got these great stories and lessons that you've learned throughout the years. And boy, you'd like your book to be able to, have these in it as well. If you want to build a lasting legacy by solving an important problem. And if you'd like to catalyze a community of like minded people, and I want to come back just for a second for that legacy bit, because there are plenty of people in the audience who are thinking, hey, I've got this legacy information that I want to share in a book, but I'm not really interested in building a business off of the back end of it. Maybe I'm retiring, maybe I just don't, I'm done with that right now. You are still in the right place, even though much of what I'm going to talk about you may reject because I'm talking business. If you are a novelist or a memoirist or interested in writing a children's book for entertainment purposes, you are so welcome to stay. But a lot of what I'm going to share with you today may not be relevant to you, but be forewarned. So you are, again, absolutely in the right place. If you have wrestled with any of these questions, I've got like a million book ideas and I'm super busy, so I'm not even sure which project I could take on is even worth my time and energy. Should I even be writing a book right now because I'm so busy? And which of these multiple ideas that I have is actually going to serve the purpose of growing my business and my reach and my impact and my authority, and which is just not going to do that? And which of these book ideas is naturally going to bring readers into my higher price programs and services? And, which of these book ideas can I be assured is going to transform lives and solve problems and, maybe a little egotistically turn readers into raving fans, because if I'm going to sink the time and energy into it, that's a great outcome. Or if you've ever had any of these questions that you've been weighing or battling, Which of my book ideas is going to have readers, I should say, thinking and talking and acting long after they put my book down? And which is going to establish me as a respected expert in a rather competitive niche? And which is going to be a 100% freaking, oh my God, home run? Like, I want everything. I want this book to be an absolute home run. And you start thinking along the lines of you want everything and you want this one book to be your home run, the thing that's going to do it all for you. And in will slither the lizard of resistance. And that lizard of resistance shows up whenever you're staring into the unknown, whenever you perceive risk, because holy cow, what happens if you choose wrong? And if you're like me, a business type, well, we tend to do two things, or one of two things, whenever we meet that lizard of resistance, whenever we face into the unknown, whenever we perceive risk. On one hand, many of us freeze. We stick to the status quo. We tell ourselves, I choosing wrong is too big of a risk. Maybe I should focus my attention on, I don't know, reconstructing my website or starting a course or doing something, but I don't want to have to choose a book. I don't know if that's going to work out. Or, you know what? I think I want to read some books on how to write a book. Maybe I'll go back and read Annie Lamott's Bird by Bird, or hey, doesn't Stephen King have a book on writing? I think I'll read that book. So we want to read instead of do. Or we're going to perseverate until we go gray. Let me start on this book, and then, you know what, 3 pages in, let me go over here and let me start on that book. And then you're going to circle and circle and circle around all of the ideas like a dog trying to find the right spot on his cushion. Or you are going to act precipitously. And this is what happens when a business owner deals with stress or the unknown or that anxiety. We act, and that write a book in a weekend offer that we see come up again and again. Boy, that starts looking attractive because we think, hey, I can eliminate a lot of this anxiety. I'm just going to focus for 2 weeks or a weekend and I'm going to get her done. Or we think, I'm going to write a 300-page Hallmark card. Of course, we don't think we're going to sit down and write a 300-page Hallmark card, but we think, you know what? I'm just going to tell everybody that is going to read this book how much I believe in them, how I have trust that they'll be able to do this, and how much I love them, and how much I want for their success and their transformation. And I'm just going to put my love on the pages, 300 to 700 pages of your love. Or if you're a woo type, and I have lots of woo types in my arena, in my business, and they think, maybe I will sit down in front of my keyboard and I will wait with the right attitude and the right mindset and my right affirmations and the right, opening of myself with incense and sound bowls to the download from the universe. And I'm going to type whatever comes from the universe and create a book from it, and I'm going to be good to go, and then I'm going to ship it. And I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it turns out. And if you want all that outcome that we just described coming into the thing, I can almost guarantee you right now that perseverating and acting precipitously and shipping it are not going to get you that outcome. So how do we deal with that lizard? How do we deal with that risk so we can calm down and think and do the job that we are meant to do? We are going to focus today on choosing a powerful book concept from the many so you can eliminate doubt and take very, very purposeful action, not random action, purposeful action. In other words, I'm going to set you up so you can write a good book that people are actually going to read. Because if they read it, They're going to get the transformation that you're hoping, and you're going to get the outcome that you're after. So, oh, I'm wearing the same shirt. Why are you going to listen to me? Why? You've got an hour here and you are listening to me. So, who am I and why should you listen to me? So, first of all, I run a publishing house called Summit Press Publishers. And at Summit Press Publishers, we specialized in highly polished nonfiction books designed to attract clients and opportunities. These are books that get read over and over again. They are books that inspire readers to go and seek out the author, and then a book that builds your brand, raises your profile, and generates income. I've also been a content development editor for about 15 years. And when we use the expression content development editor, some people use the term coach and some people use the term writing partner. And, I've been helping people develop their content and turning it into books for a very long time. I'm also a ghostwriter for service professionals and entrepreneurs who have way more on their plate than they can handle in order to write a book. So there I do the book writing for them. I write proposals and books for big traditional publishing houses, including Simon & Schuster. So I've got that weird little niche where I understand precisely how, the book proposal world and the traditional publishing house world operates and how self-publishing and hybrid publishing works. I have that inside scoop on writing and publishing serious books. And throughout the expanse of my career, I have come to discover that the more I think like a traditional publishing house editor, the better I can help my clients position themselves in the market and attract right fit customers for their other products and programs, regardless of how they choose to publish. So I want to explain a little bit about traditional houses and how they make money, which is simply by selling books. Traditional publishing houses will not publish a book unless they know exactly who is going to buy that book and why they would buy that book. And if you evaluate your book ideas the way a traditional publishing house evaluates a book idea, you are not going to waste your time writing something that no one will buy or read either. And when you think like a traditional publishing house editor, you're going to be so less likely to waste your time on a book that won't get purchased, that will not get read, that will not serve your business in any significant way. And you are going to be far more discerning and far more focused on outcome for you and outcome for your reader, instead of being random. And you are going to stop throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that something is going to stick with a quick hit book. You're just not going to do it. So whenever a traditional publishing house evaluates a book idea, and this book idea is always spelled out in nonfiction world in the form of a book proposal. And these editors, regardless of where they are in this 40 to 80 page document, they're going to read the entire document, keeping 4 questions in mind at all time. One is, what is your book about? And that might seem like a crazy question. Like, of course you would know what the book is about. Like, why would you have to read the entire 80 pages to figure that out? Well, the number of books that I have come across my desk at Summit Press Publishers where I cannot figure out, even after 3 chapters, what the book is supposed to be about is like incomprehensible. So this is not a crazy question to be asking when you're evaluating a book idea. The next thing they're evaluating is, why does this book need to be written now in this day and age in this era, under this set of social or economic or relational circumstances, why is this book going to be so relevant in 2024, 2025? What's going on around us that makes this book timely? And then 3, why does this book need to be written by you, the author? And then more importantly, who is going to buy this book? Who is going to buy this book? If these publishing house editors do not see the market for your book, they're going to cut you loose. They don't care if it's a beautiful piece of art or a wonderful expression of your soul. If they can't spot enough readers out there who are already interested in books on that topic in the market, they're only going to assume that they lose money. They are not interested in being innovative at all or forging new trails. They want a proven market. And if they cannot see the readers for this book idea of yours, they are going to pass you by. And you need to think the very same way that they do. If you do not know who will buy your book and why, what it will provide a reader, and I'm talking about a solution to a problem, a mindset shift, an action plan, or simple entertainment. But then again, we're talking about probably novels and memoirs when we're dealing with the entertainment side of things. Then you're probably wasting your time and you're probably fooling yourself. And it all comes down to know thy reader. And if you're in business, when I use the word reader, feel free to replace that word with your avatar or a client or your customer. And these are the people that you currently serve in your business or your practice, or that you want to serve, that you aim to serve. And here is one of the hardest things to drive home for a lot of wonderfully generous, kind people. Not everyone is your audience. Even if your ideas and your lessons and your experiences could benefit the entire world, you cannot write to everyone. Because when you're writing a book, particularly one that focuses on solving a problem, you have got to know who your readers are and what they want as opposed to what they need. And I'm going to differentiate between what a reader wants and what they need in a little bit. And when you do this, when you focus on solving a particular type of person's problem and giving them what it is they feel that they want, you will be able to choose a topic from the many that is going to be relevant to them. But more importantly, you will be able to deeply, deeply connect with them. Because knowing this, the answer to this question is key. What do your readers want? More importantly, what do they want when they come to you? So maybe they're coming for coaching, or they're coming into your business to solve a particular problem that you are known for. Or if you're a speaker, these are the people that are showing up in your audience because they've come there to hear something that is going to help them generally to solve a problem or get some sort of mindset shift. What is that? So this is Una Duncan. She is the author of Healthy as Fuck, and she is a fitness expert. And Una's methodology could help everyone. She can help men and she can help women. She can help the young and she can help the old get fit and healthy. But she is writing very specifically to a segment of her marketplace of 40-year-old women who want to lose weight without worrying about ketones and calories and fasting, who want the task to be more effortless and empowering, who are unwilling to sacrifice their life. And these 40-year-old women have their own set of challenges. They have picky eater kids, and they have a husband who wants, their big manly meals for dinner. And the obstacles or the challenges that these 40-year-old women face are very different than a 60-year-old who's trying to lose menopausal weight, or who's single. So the focus is on 40-year-old women. This is John Courtine. He's the author of The Profit Culture Formula. And when John came to me, he was the head of a very, very successful financial planning or wealth management firm. And a lot of people in his industry, a lot of other owners of financial or wealth management firms wanted to know what John was doing to keep his free agent employees in that company for years on end, because they have a huge reputation of big, huge turnover in those industries and training people and losing people. So they continually would come to John and say, please, we're business owners just like you with free agent employees. And we want to know how you build a company culture so strong that headhunters can't steal their best people away. He understood who they were and what they wanted more than anything, and he wrote to that. So instead of worrying about which topic from the many that you can write about, because you've got lots to choose from, no doubt, I would like you to turn your focus or your mindset just 20 degrees. And instead of all the things that you could write about, I want you to focus on that reader and what that reader wants now, and what that reader wants now and why. Because when you do that, everything is easier. The topic reveals itself from the pile. And knowing that every twist and turn of your book must connect to what these chosen people want and why they may not be able to get it, or why they haven't been able to get it thus far, well, that then serves as the filter, not just for the topic you choose, but all of the stories, of which you have many, no doubt, you are going to tell in the pages of this book. And it is going to help filter the information that you share. And I'm sure you could help people endlessly by throwing all the information that you have in your head on the page, but you're going to curate that. And the exercises you offer and the research you use, that becomes a filter. I've made this slide so simple because I really want to drive this point home. Everything that you put into your book must be designed to solve their problem so they can get what they want right now. And by they, I'm talking about that target reader. And here's the mistake we make as business owners, as loving people, as people who know we can help others, is that it is so easy to offer people what we want to offer them, what we think they need, what we see to be the solution to their supposed issue. But we cannot lose sight of them and their burning desires. Like, I know that what you need is a handle on your core message, but I can guarantee you that you're not out there thinking, and what I need is a good core message. You're worried about what I'm going to do to break up the procrastination, and how am I going to choose a topic so I can get going, or what's wrong with my manuscript and why can't I get it flowing? I know you need core message, but you don't know that yet. So we have to be able to answer these questions before we begin writing. And we have to understand that know thy reader stuff. So your ideal reader and your ideal customer, well, how would you describe them? What does this reader want most of all? how would your reader describe their core problem, that thing that seems to be getting in the way of what they want? And then what do you think prevents them from successfully solving this core problem? Like, what's belief, how they think, or what practice, what they do, are you going to help them correct in the pages of your book? And you notice that number 3 and number 4 are two very different things. So I want to give you an example. Maybe you've read Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. A lot of people in my circle, talk about his book and share his book and participated in his courses and some of his programs. And this is how Mike Michalowicz answers those questions. Number 1, Mike's ideal reader is a business owner who is spending more time than they are making, who don't have a dime or a successful business to show for their efforts, right? There's a lot of business owners out there that understand this problem that are like, yep, that's me. And what those readers want is to accumulate wealth without working themselves into the ground. Right? They're throwing everything they have at it, and they're working and working and working, and they can't work any harder, but they need to accumulate wealth. It's not working. And then what Mike's readers think the solution to their problem is just like to get that one big payout. And when I get that one big payout, I'm going to solve all the problems. Let me just figure out how to scale this thing or grow this thing. But Mike knows how they think. And he's like, no, dudes, that's not how it is. It's cash is king. That until you start paying yourself first, you're going to completely leave yourself vulnerable again and again and again to your own hubris and your own poor choices. And you're going to overspend. And let me tell you something, growth is not the means to the end, cash is. Because you must only spend what your business can afford. And you have to remain profitable or you'll never get what you want. And the answer to question number 4, that is what can differentiate you in a very crowded field. Because business owners, they're out there, and we know what their problem is, and we know what they think, but the solution from your point of view is what makes you different from Mike Michalowicz or anybody else. So this is Jill James. She participated in Write a Real Book workshop, and she's got a very similar reader to Mike Michalowicz. Jill's ideal reader is a small, impact-driven founder or CEO who's struggling with overwhelm, working so hard running a company, and they are overspending on marketing and team, and they're not getting ahead. And her reader wants to maintain control of their company by self-funding, and they want to be profitable and they want to pay themselves so they can support their family, and they want to grow their company without compromising their values. And like Michalowicz's reader, they think that the solution to their problem is to get like a big 1 million mark per year. And that way they're going to be successful and coast a bit. Like that's the scale, that's the growth that they're after, because when they get to that level of growth, they're going to be floaters. But unlike Michalowicz, who sees taking profit as the solution to the problem, Jill's solution is you've got to stop acting as if you can follow the same venture-backed hypergrowth playbooks in the big boy network. You are not going to be able to do that. You have to design and build and run an impact-driven business on very different terms, namely your terms, or you're going to go bust. So her solution is uniquely hers. Her solution, her answer to question 4, is what separates her from Mike Michalowicz. So in a well-written prescriptive nonfiction book, and when I use the term prescriptive nonfiction, that means a book designed to solve a very particular problem for a very particular type of reader, you have to be able to decipher who the book is written for, who that reader is, the problem this reader is experiencing, what the reader thinks the solution to their problem is, and what you, the author, believe the actual solution is. And we have to be able to determine this within the introduction in the first 1 or 2 chapters, because if you imagine how readers examine books, they pull a book from the shelf, they flip through the pages standing there in the bookshop, and if they do not see that this book is written for them to solve a problem that they immediately self-identify with, down will go the book and off they will go to get their Frappuccino. So we have to be able to fill out this reader statement before we progress further. I am writing for this demographic who want this more than anything, but they are struggling with this perceived problem. And they may not realize they're also or really dealing with this core problem. So this is Tom Garcia. He was a student in Write a Real Book workshop, and he's a shaman out in Durango, Colorado. So when he was filling out this reader statement, this is how he answered the question. I'm writing for outwardly successful professionals who represent or present with very good cheer, but they're dying inside. And these people, for Tom, they can't figure out why they are not happy. They should be happy, but they recognize that they want a deeper sense of connection to themselves and nature and spirit within, because they're struggling with being lost and confused and detached from the world, and that's what they think they need to fix. But what he's saying is, whoa, yeah, we got to fix that, but here's one more thing you don't realize that you're dealing with, and that is understanding who you truly are at your core and what your deeper purpose is. And that's the work he does at the fire and the work he's doing in his book. We build content specifically for this reader, for the problem as they see it, so you, the author, can connect with them on a very deep level. So let's go back to how traditional publishing houses think, right? Because we're trying to think like they do. That is going to make your book far more successful. We're going back to those questions. What is your book about? Why does it need to be written right now? Why does it need to be written by you? And who's going to buy it? Like, we just talked about who's going to buy it, but let's get to this really dicey question of why does it need to be written by you? Because I ask, what are you bringing to the market that is different than the other top sellers already out there covering your topic? What is your unique angle? And holy cow, does this question bring up fear? Why you? Because I know I hear this all the time when I'm talking with clients or potential clients. It's with Brene Brown out there, who cares what I've got to say on this shame topic or resiliency topic? And you know what? It's all been done before. After Jim Collins is Good to Great, how am I going to add to the business world? That's just there's no way I can add anything new. And the market is saturated. Have you looked at how many financial planning books are out there, or parenting books? Or don't even get me started on the psychology books and self-help books. There's 1,000 books on this very same topic. And why would anyone buy a solution to the problem from little old me? Da, 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 da. Enter that thing you do not know you need, but you do, is that tell me more core message. Your core message is a statement that encompasses your take on the solution to your reader's problem. This is the foundational truth upon which your entire book is built. And you could say it's the foundational truth, or you could say it is your argument, it is your thesis. This is the thing that everything you put in your book is designed to support and to prove out. And this statement is something that makes your ideal reader lean in and say, wait, tell me more. And this core message, your unique take on the solution to your reader's problem, is what sets you apart from everyone else. It gives your work a unique flavor. And by the way, the publishing houses are looking for that core message all throughout your proposal, because they're trying to figure out, how they would market you and how they would differentiate you, compare and contrast you to the other books on the market. Like, they need to see this. And if you've got a solid, fascinating core message, they are interested. And I want to give you some really good examples of what core messages look like. And I want you to notice that core messages are built upon the ideal reader. They are married to each other, which is why we need to know who your ideal reader is. Your ideal reader. Example number one, I'm writing to trial lawyers who want to ensure they win over juries and get good outcomes for their clients. Core message. You can instantly and authentically connect with jurors by getting off script and improvising. Let me tell you what's interesting about this core message. If you know anything about trial lawyers, they do not like getting off script. They like knowing 15 minutes and 15 days ahead of time precisely what they're going to say. So the idea of getting off script in order to connect with jurors and get that outcome, that makes you lean in and say, what? Tell me more. Ideal reader number two, I'm writing to business people who want to negotiate better outcomes for themselves instead of feeling helpless and taken advantage of. Core message. You can get what you want in a negotiation without compromising by making the other side feel like they were treated fairly using tactical empathy. What? Like, they're worried that they're going to get taken advantage of, so I can get what I want if I let them feel like I'm not going to do that to them? Tell me more. Ideal reader number three. I'm writing to investors who want to figure out the best time to get out of their positions or when to double down so they make a lot of money. If you're ever investing your money, you recognize that this is something you'd like to know the answer to as well. Well, here's the core message. If there was just one factor that you could use to guide your investment decisions, it should be most markets go up most of the time, so just keep buying. Wait a minute. So just keep buying. Like, I don't have to turn another page to get a transformation because I understand right now that the answer to my question is just to keep buying. So why am I going to turn a page? Well, I'm going to turn the page because I want to see how this author supports this argument. I want to see how this author proves out this statement because, man, I am all ears. So these are great core messages, right? And for a strong core message, and coming up with one isn't just, something that you come up with out of nowhere. You got to think it through. You want to think in terms like this. Most people think like this, but I think like that. You see that contrarian angle? Or this outdated way of doing things does not work. The solution is the other way around. Traditional is not the way to go. Interesting, tell me more. This commonly held belief is actually harmful. Here's the way out of it. Huh. We know we are on to a great book idea if the core message is somehow disruptive. The traditional accounting methods are killing your business. Well, take your profit first. Well, we're talking traditional and all of those people that bought, Mike Michalowicz's book, those business owners, no doubt, they have traditional accountants giving them the feedback. And I guarantee you, none of those accountants were saying, dude, you got to take your profit first. They're like, here's your report. Yeah, good luck with that. Or parents think they need a diagnosis before they can interrupt their child's development delay. But if you listen to Mary Barbera, author of Turn Autism Around, oh, that's like really crazy old way of thinking. And in fact, thinking like that is downright harmful because parents can turn autism around even without a diagnosis. Whoa. You may discover that simply by thinking about what you disagree with in your industry, you can get at that core message so much faster. And like that, you have differentiated yourself from all of those glamorous people that you're worried about and have your readers absolutely, absolutely fall in love with you and want to hear what you've got to say in your book. So I want to kind of put these ideas together. This is Dana Abraham. She's the author of Calm the Chaos. And she got a fabulous book deal by Simon & Schuster a couple of years ago. And this is how she set the whole scene in her book proposal. So Calm the Chaos, her readers are parents who are beaten down by the constant battles with their challenging kid. They're not just any parent, they're parents of challenging kids. And they've got the worst case scenario fears and, the thinking that their kid is going to end up in jail or being up in the, like responsible for a school shooting. And they're also horrified by the judgment that they get from other people in their lives. And these parents want nothing more than to create a family that actually enjoys spending time together and has hope for the future rather than dreads the future and spends all their time fighting or focusing on the chaotic kid. And if you ask these parents how they would describe their core problem, that thing that is getting in the way of having this family, they're going to say it is their inability to make sense of their kids' misbehavior and the fear that they haven't found the right diagnosis for what's wrong with this kid. And until they do, they should just probably have stronger and firmer and more consistent boundaries so that their kid's not going to act out and create chaos in the household. And she's saying, absolutely not. Parents are assuming that challenging kids are acting out when, in fact, they're communicating the only way they know how. And what challenging kids need most is not more structure, it's not more discipline, it's not even more consistency, it's to be seen, heard, and understood and empowered. That's a totally flipped situation from what these parents believe. And by the way, that got her an excellent book deal. And not everybody needs a traditional book house deal, and not everybody, would be served by one. But you get something this sharp on the page, yeah, it's possible. So in order for us to write a real book that is going to get read from cover to cover, you have to be able to describe the ideal reader and what they want most, the problem that they want to have solved, what they've tried before, what they believe to be the cause of their difficulties, what you see that they do not. And when you know who your readers are and what they want, you can call to them the same way whales call to each other in the ocean with your core message. And this core message is what differentiates you from everyone else out there calling to them. And it helps them see why you. So I'm really hopeful that you sat through this and you're like, oh my God, I know who my target reader is. My target reader is, and I've got my core message. I don't know, like, just I got this download from the universe and my core message is there and I'm ready to take off and start writing this book. Thank you, Anne, by the way, you're welcome. And for others, you may be thinking, boy, I could really use some more help getting clarity, not just with my target reader and not just with my core message, but how I'm going to take this information and how I'm going to translate it into a book and how I'm going to implement this stuff. So number one way that I might be able to help is the Write a Real Book workshop. And Write a Real Book workshop is a 6-month cohort where you are working with other writers who are working on the very same type of book. And we are building out your target reader and all of the foundational information and your core reader. And we're creating that outline, and you're beginning to write these chapters and present these chapters and get feedback in real time and course correct. So you've got the perfect introduction and the perfect chapter 1 and the perfect chapter 2, and all else falls into place with this workshopping and editing in real time. And if that sounds great, but you're thinking, you know what, I don't necessarily want to work in a group and listen to what other people are writing. I want the focus to be on me. I want a one-on-one work where somebody is entirely focused on me and we're working back and forth in a partnership, and I can have my book done in 6 months because I'm getting edited and we're shaping this thing as we go and we're staying on target. So one-on-one partnering might be a better option for you. Or like a lot of my clients, you've sat through this and you say, oh my God, this is precisely what I want. And I know that this is what I need, but I have zero time. I just want somebody to do this for me. And of course, I ghostwrite stuff all the time with exactly this in mind for you and the reader and the outcome that you want from your book. Or if you're like some people who have been working on a manuscript, you're halfway through, or maybe you think, I'm almost done. I'm going to start shopping for publishers. And you just sat through this and thought that core message is a really unique concept. Pretty sure I don't have one. And I'm not even sure that my target reader is all that clear. Well, maybe having me go through your manuscript and making very structured suggestions on how you can fix it so that book gets the outcome you're after, well, maybe that's the way to go. Or if you're thinking, I've got this list of 10 or 20 core messages, and really what I would like is just some feedback on which one is best based on the outcome I'm after and the ideal reader that I have. And I just want to check it through. Well, an hour-long consultation with me might be the right choice. Or if you're a VIP weekend could be an awesome choice where we sit together over a course of a weekend and we nail down that target reader and we nail down your core message and we build out your outline and we create a plan so that you can go home and immediately implement and write to that plan so that you can have the kind of book that's going to get you the outcome you want. Well, that might be the option. And I don't know which one would benefit you. Maybe you don't either, which is why I'm going to offer you an exploratory call. And look, people like to talk to me. Yes, I'm a nice person, but I also know my stuff. And we need to do these calls by application. And if you go over to the right-hand side, I guess it would be my left, your right, you're going to see in the chat box an application form, and you can click on that and you can fill, I think it's like 4 questions. And you can, apply to have an exploratory call for me, and we can talk through if any of these options are right for you, and if so, which one. Because the whole goal is to have this clarity about who you're writing for and what they want and what your core message is and how we can use it to attract those people and then to get the outcome that they want and the outcome that you want. And when you have this clarity, when you are showing up knowing who you're writing to and what your message is and all the stuff in your book is supporting that, outcome. This makes writing your book 1,000 times easier. And maybe the right term is more efficient, because you're not wasting your time, trying to sort through, what you're after. It's all laid out for you. It's the follow the map. And it makes creating the material, and I know you probably have so much material, it makes curating it a breeze. And then how to structure this material, it is all born of what that reader is experiencing and the obstacles they're facing, and that core message that you're going to take them through and support in the pages of your book. And what makes it easier for you also makes it so much more enjoyable for your reader, because they're not confused, because they see themselves in the pages of your book, because they know immediately that your book is designed for them to help them solve a very real problem, and that you understand them, and it's more actionable. And it's because it's so actionable, it's also one of these books that they're going to refer to others, like, this book changed my life. You've got to read it. And they're referring it to their friends and their family and the other people in their industries. And then suddenly your ideas are being placed in front of people that, would never see it if it were in a paid ad. And the book is so valuable to your reader that it's natural for them, or a percentage of them, to go, gosh, I would love to work with this person. Like, I've got these great ideas, but I wonder what they have. I wonder what I could do to work with them in some capacity. And this kind of clarity, this kind of writing that serves a function, that is easy to read and flows, that's what gets you diehard fans that are looking for whatever it is that you're putting out into the world next, be it another book or a talk or a speech or an appearance somewhere. They want in on that. And this kind of clarity that we get by going through these exercises, by making these decisions, by using it as a filter for everything that we do in a book, it doesn't just make for great books. It makes for great courses and membership content and deliverable programs and sales copy, because you know how to speak to that very specific target reader or target market, and you know how they perceive the problem, and you know what's getting in the way for them, and you know what they need, not just what they want, and that you have a solution. And this kind of clarity can get you an impressive book deal like Dana's, if that's what you're looking for. And not what I'm recommending, but it might be what you want. And you get this clarity not by perseverating or putting together a book in a weekend or any of that jazz meant to reduce your anxiety. It is by doing this, it's by going through the writing process. And when you go through it, that clarity makes your sales conversations so much more focused and targeted and effective, because you know who they are and what they think already. And your talks and your speeches are so on point, and your media interviews, you are not babbling. You know exactly how to lead the conversation. And your social media posts are targeted, and your newsletters, everything that you would associate with your book, anything that would come off of the back of that book, is dramatically improved. And if it's dramatically improved, your business grows. And there's a truth in sales and marketing that if you don't have any kind of incentive to act now, that people don't act. We just assume that it's always going to be there, and we leave it to someday. So for this reason alone, I want to let you know that if you think that having an exploratory call with me would be valuable, and you're a little bit shy because maybe you don't want anything or maybe it's not the right thing, well, the application process is going to help you decide that. But if you fill out that application, I'm going to send you two incredibly valuable worksheets. And one is that ideal reader worksheet, which is the worksheet that the folks in Write a Real Workbook work on. And lots more questions and lots more thoughts that we couldn't cover in today's masterclass. And also the core message worksheet, about 5 or 6 other angles in order to come at that core message that you want to have, that really powerful core message. And these sheets are what help you do that heavy lifting because there's some thinking involved. So yeah, you want to fill that application out sometime today. And I want to wrap this up and just kind of bring this to a good solid landing point, a good solid conclusion, because right, our books need a conclusion. Everything needs a conclusion to tie the ideas together. When you connect with your reader and you call to that reader with your core message, you're going to minimize that risk of choosing wrong. And that's what slays that dragon of resistance. It just puts that dragon right, or the lizard or dragon. It just puts it in its place where it belongs. And you are going to avoid spending time on something that will not do for you what you want. And you can eliminate the doubt and the perseverating, and you can take purposeful action instead of looking for that quick hit, quick fix, so that you can relieve yourself of anxiety. And you can make more money, and you can have more impact and leave that legacy and change more lives, because I've got to believe that's what you're in this world to do, what you're in business to do. And I really want to express my gratitude for you spending the hour with me. And I hope that I have offered you so much value and that I've gotten you excited enough to hit the tarmac or hit the keyboard, typing like a madman or mad woman, and getting that book, the right book, out into the world.